make the doors, we're using some of the waste wood from the milling process from the mill that we brought in while we were doing the timbers for our house build. We cut the scrap down to about 1-inch boards, and then we bring a whole pile of them inside and let them dry for about a year. So here I'm just digging through the remainder of the pile that we have, just selecting the perfect piece for this project. Sometimes the edge has been milled straight when we did the timbers, and sometimes we have to use the track saw to get a straight edge and then run it through the table saw to get it down to the right width. So now we swap out the regular saw blade for a dado stack. We use a shiplap sort of profile on the edge because the wood that we're using was not kiln drying. It was just, kind of brought into the barn to dry. And as the seasons change, the wood expands and contracts. So this profile keeps the seams tight and makes for better privacy through the doors, so you can't see through the doors. And now we're just taking the two outside boards, kind of doing the final cut on them to cut the door down to a little bit bigger than the final width, and then we can finish it up with a plane. So that's just our rough layout. Those middle pieces are actually a little bit lower. On most of the doors I don't actually have the centerpiece here. This is actually a barn door, but it's going to be a split barn door slider. So I just thought the best way to make it kind of look all equal and perfect is to build it as one door, and then I'm going to slice it down the middle. Before we glue on the side rails and the decorative pieces, we spent some time sanding down all the edges and the surfaces. The planing takes a lot of the ugly and the marks off, but sanding helps clean it up just a little bit more. Quick wipe down and we are ready for glue.
smart. It seems your heart just needs a fresh start. High, high, higher than the rain. Far from all the voices telling us we can't. High, high, higher than the pain. We can make it, we can take it easy.
So a good life lesson here is before you start a major big glue up like this, make sure you know where your long clamps are. I've had these long clamps for 6 years now. Somebody gave them to me when I started building this house. Said, you'll use these, I don't need them anymore. They're too long for me. And they have lived in that corner over there for 6 years. I use them occasionally and I put them right back. But this last 4 or 5 months, we've been starting to work on the barn, doing interior walls, and I've been working on starting the basics of getting my workshop put to go. Basically, I've been cleaning it up so I could start building cabinets and all that. And we moved in all this lumber for our railings and all that kind of stuff to dry over the winter. And I moved them, and I have no idea where they went to. So I ended up having to quickly, while the glue was setting up, getting 2 smaller ones that are just slightly too small, but it was enough to hold the piece together. I know woodworkers everywhere right now are cringing, but you know, sometimes you have to just make something work. So the basic carcass is there. I have to put the middle pieces in, but the outside edge. I did leave this long on purpose, so I can, once it's all done, I can use my track saw to make that a nice clean cut there. And then all around the outside edges, I use a planer just to make it all good. Make it all level, flat, smooth, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm going to glue in these middle pieces, and then we can, I guess first I'm going to flip it over so I can glue all these, I can screw these other side to pull in these seams nice and tight. And then I'll flip it back over and we can start putting in fill-in pieces and stuff like that. Alright, so that's most of the door built. These things all, like on the normal doors, these things don't join up like they do here with two angles on them. But because this piece changes the actual width of it, it does. Not sure if I'm a super fan of it. We'll see once it's cut, but I think that looks better than it would if I did two individual X's in each one. I think that would just make everything look too busy and too close together, too tight. So I think maybe the recording stopped while I was doing the track saw thing there. If it did, oops, sorry. I can't redo the track saw. But anyway, this is we've got this all done, sanded. I'm just going to take a hand sander and knock down some of these edges on the inside pieces there. And then give it a quick vacuum out here, bring it in, let it dry for a day, and I'll start to clear coat it. Now inside there's a little bit of work. I have to take the old header off, the old trim piece off, put a longer one on to hold the track, and then we'll get the doors hung. But there's going to be more about that next time. Until then, have a good one.